when we're talking about people is a quality or aspect of that person that sets them apart from other people. Most often, it's not one specific trait, but a common mix of related traits that define certain types of people. We might find that medical doctors almost all share a certain level of intelligence, or an inexplicable shared love of golf and Porsches. Well, perhaps those last two are better described as stereotypes. But the point is that having certain traits can be helpful in specific jobs. It's important that you understand the difference between traits and skills, since these are often confused. Skills are concrete things that you can actually do. Having the ability to file a tax return is a skill, but having the patience to do heaps of tax paperwork, well, that's a trait. Technology entrepreneurs also share some useful general traits, and in this lecture we'll be going over some of the most important ones. This is not meant to be a list of traits that you need in order to be a successful coding entrepreneur. There are plenty of examples of successful people who don't have all of these traits. Instead, this is an opportunity for you to reflect on these traits and to see if any of them describe you. If you don't have one of these traits strongly, it doesn't mean you can never have them, as traits can be nurtured and strengthened with the right guidance and motivation. So here are just some of the core traits of a coding entrepreneur. We humans are pretty good at spotting patterns in all sorts. In fact, sometimes our brains are too enthusiastic and spot patterns where there are none. Being able to spot patterns in abstract information is a key trait of entrepreneurs and doubly so for coding business owners. Not only is this useful for understanding their own products and the products that may arise in it, it's also essential for predicting where the best business opportunities are going to be. After all, who wouldn't want to see the next Uber-like revolutions coming? The goals that you need to reach for a successful coding business are not insignificant. They need long-term focus and very often with plenty of short-term sacrifice. This is why being almost obsessively goal-focused is a core trait of any entrepreneur. An entrepreneur also helps keep the other people in their company focused on those goals and acts as a vision keeper for the company. So while everyone else can get caught up in the day-to-day issues of the business, an entrepreneur also keeps an eye on the ball. In general, human beings are pretty risk-averse. We tend to prefer protecting what we have than risking things for even very big rewards. However, entrepreneurs will generally have a very cozy attitude towards risk, which is a very difficult thing for most people to adopt. They need to feel comfortable with risk because all the really worthwhile rewards will always involve an element of it, some of which could make or break your business. But it's important to point out this is not the same as being reckless in business. Instead, it's about having a good intuition around worthy risks and ones that should be avoided. As you'll no doubtedly already be well aware, in the technology space, you have to run simply just to stand still. Tech entrepreneurs never ever lose their desire to learn new things. It's that deep sense of curiosity which drives some of their greatest successes. This is why you'll find so many technology entrepreneurs are always ahead of the curve. They inhale all the knowledge about the bleeding edge developments in their industry, a trait that clearly gives you a competitive edge. The true entrepreneur is no stranger to failure. People like Edison failed more times than they succeeded. Bill Gates and Steve Jobs both have long lists of failures under their belts. Having a healthy attitude towards failures and trying again, regardless, is a bedrock trait of any entrepreneur. And this is core to a coding entrepreneur to an even greater degree, because the failures come much more often and much more quickly. But if there's just one trait worth cultivating in this business, let it be the trait of having a good relationship with the notion of failure, and the ability to move on from any and all failures is absolutely essential.